What's up, Godzilla fans? Monster Master Godzilla here, and I'm continuing the Godzilla-Thon. We're now up to Godzilla vs. Biollante. Now, here we are. This one's the second entry in the Heisei series, and right away, it continues. It continues Godzilla 1984. The intro does show shows what happened in the previous film, like shows scenes from 1984, like and even shows what previously happened before, and where Godzilla's trapped in the volcano. Yes, that's right. It's unlike this time. It has more consecutive sequels, unlike the Showa series. This time they actually showed some major content with the Heisei series. Unlike the Showa series, had better storytelling than the Showa series, and had very awesome human characters, better human characters than the ones from the Showa series, where you can get connected. The main character, one of the main characters, was named Miki Sakusa, which you get connected with her throughout the rest of the Heisei series, and you find that she has psychokinetic powers, where she has a psychokinetic connection with Godzilla throughout the film, and Mickey explains that her parents were killed during the events of Godzilla in 1984, and so Godzilla had been trapped in the volcano since 1984. This here is year 1989, which, yes, this is a big year for a lot of movies. Like 1989 was the first year for Batman with Michael Keaton, as well as Ghostbusters 2 and Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, with Indiana Jones' The Last Crusade, which are all released in 1989. Sadly, this film was not released theatrically. It was only released in Japan. However, it got released on VHS, English dub, on HBO. And so anyway, during the events after the events of 1984 happened and Godzilla was trapped in the volcano, scientists discovered one of Godzilla's scales was found. And sadly, there was a scientist who was experimenting with plants, and his daughter Erica was somehow killed by an accident. Was killed by a serious accident, and so then the scientists then did some work with experiments with the plant, as well as the Godzilla cell. So they had the human DNA, they had the human soul, the human spirit. So that's when they created Biollante, which the Toho was submitting people to create a new and original monster at the time. So that's when we created Biollante, which is this creature right here, which a very unique looking monster. And Biollante was created when scientists took the DNA of a plant and combined it with the DNA of Godzilla. And so basically Biollante is Godzilla's sister. That's right. That's right, folks. Biollante is Godzilla's sister. She was created. He has Godzilla's DNA with the plant. It also has a spirit of a human because of Erica's spirit, because of the scientist's daughter's spirit. So then Godzilla finally escapes from the volcano, and boy, oh my, And Godzilla's not being a superhero still. Is not a superhero in this film. He actually is like being a... He actually is more like villainous than the Showa series. Like similar to 1954. Similar to 1954 Godzilla, but still being like an anti-hero to the story. And so God ends up coming out of the volcano because he felt some connection with Biollante. Heard some kind of psychotic felt some telepathic connection with Biollante. So then, when Godzilla finally meets face to face with Biollante, Biollante doesn't always look like this. Doesn't always look like this. Originally showed off looking like this giant rose, and has some tentacles that have like Venus flytraps on its as its heads. And so the monster. So then Godzilla meets up with Biollante, and because he didn't look anything Godzilla, he was a little pissed and decided to kill. And decided to get into a fight with the Rose monster. And so Biollante was destroyed. Well, in her first form, that is. And then Godzilla ends up going on the rampage yet again, causing mayhem all over Tokyo. And the clip from where Godzilla's going around this destroying city was actually seen as a clip on Mars Attacks. Yeah, I'm not joking. They actually used a clip of Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Biollante in Mars Attacks. And it was seen as a joke in this film. And so after they made, and also this time the Heisei series decided to get more creative with instead of the traditional planes and instead of the traditional tanks and jets, they actually end up using more weapons. Like in 1984, they have used the Maser cannons, which they continued using the Maser cannons. They end up continuing using the Maser cannons in the rest of the Heisei series. But this time they actually introduced another new weapon, the Super X2. Instead of looking like this dome-looking thing, it comes off looking like this right here. This little weapon right here, that's the Super X2. And this time they're showing something like reflecting against Godzilla's atomic breath. But sadly that got destroyed too. And one of the characters had a funny moment where Godzilla comes up to a building and he tries ends up shooting the grenade in Godzilla's mouth, and only it didn't work. And he ends up getting killed by Godzilla. And so, in the final battle, Godzilla ends up meeting up with Biollante in her second form, which Biollante does give Godzilla a hard time while fighting, especially the tentacles, like this right there. And it turns out Godzilla has another weakness called ANEB, which stands for anti-nuclear energy bacteria, which it breaks down nuclear energy, and it ended up weakening Godzilla. And it ended up weakening Godzilla during the battling. Godzilla had used up a lot of adrenaline battling Biollante. Biollante was wounded, and then Godzilla ends up passing out. And the final battle was a little short, but it was fun while it lasted, especially with the nice effects and the creative monster. And I got it. And so what I got here, it was never released on DVD until 2012. And that's the end of that one. And so Biollante ends up ends up going, and Spirit ends up going into space. And so Biollante dies, and the world, almost the world is kind of saved by her in that way. And then Godzilla ends up saving the way on her own, and by just going away. And that's the end of that movie. And would I recommend this movie? Absolutely. This is one of the best Godzilla movies, and it's kind of a sleeper hit when it first came out on DVD. Yes, I found this when I was collecting the Godzilla movies. I found this when I was at Best Buy, and it was its first time on this right here says right here it's its first time on DVD, and it was released on, it got its DVD release in 2012. I was 17 years old at the time. I was 17 years old when I found it on DVD. And I was so happy to find it on DVD. And so that's when cause then during the time as a 90s kid, it was never released on DVD until 2012. And being a Godzilla fan in the early 80s, because being a Godzilla fan like myself wasn't easy for an American. You have to go scan the TV guide every Sunday to see if any of them happen to be on, or if you're lucky, you can find some in stores like a video rental store. Find Godzilla movies on stores like a video rental store or so, and you hopefully find them on DVD or VHS. So, I recommend grabbing this DVD if you're trying to find the great Godzilla stuff. This is definitely one that you need to try out, need to look for. It's very fun to watch, and it's definitely one of the great stuff in the Heisei series. And that's all I have to say, folks, and stay tuned for more. Next up, we will getting into more awesome Heisei movie stuff. And that's all I have to say, folks, and as always, stay awesome, my Monster Masters, and I'll catch you later. Bye!